This is Allerford, which we've happened on by making a mistake on our walking route. Very tall, arching stems, almost like grass. And then it's got these purpley bells on the ends. I think this is chicory. Pretty penstemon. This might be a genuine Exmoor pony, given that we're on Dunkery Hill, and not only the pony, but a little foal. Severn Estuary, Steep Home and Flat Home, and Wales is over there, but not very clear. We've got some sheep on the road, and we're looking over Selworthy Beacon at the coast of Wales beyond. This is Bossington and Porlock that we're looking down on here. This is the Porter's Lodge or Gatehouse. This was an outer courtyard where markets were held. And then we come round to the main abbey buildings, which are still in existence today. These are the latrines, and we're looking along the monks' dormitory to the chapter house where the big opening is. Then the sacristy, and this is the east end of the chapel here. Part of the kitchen with the bread oven here. The chapter house and other buildings there with the dormitory above. This side is refectory and kitchens, yes, but the upper floor was added in the 15th century.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting spiral staircase here, which you're not encouraged to climb. There are some steps here. By the time you come round to the side again, there's lots of steps missing. And then it eventually leads to this little narrow doorway. This is the refectory, remodelled in the 15th century, and with the magnificent roof. Carved angels and patterns on the ribs, and carved bosses. This doorway gave access to a little pulpit here from which a monk would read scripture during meal times while the monks themselves were silent, but that was removed in preference for a fireplace. This room is thought to have been the abbot's office because it has this amazing painting on the wall, a rich bearded gentleman praying on a bridge with a lion and St. Catherine on one side and a dragon and St. Margaret on the other side. This is an illustration of the painting. You can see more details of the fish and the eels in the river underneath the bridge. This upper chamber may have been the abbot's bedroom. We're now on the third floor of the structure on the south side of the main cloister. The main clay is placed in a mould and flattened down. Then it is stamped to give a pattern. It's dried for about 24 hours until the contrasting coloured clay is placed into the holes in the pattern. Then it's left to dry until both clays are of the same texture. And then a sharp knife is applied to scrape off any excess and reveal the pattern. The edges of the tile are beveled. Some scoops are taken out to provide keying, and then lead glaze is applied before they go into the kiln for firing. And if all goes well, you end up with something like that. This shows two triangular tiles fitting together closely because the bevelling allows the top edge of the tile to be close together while the material to grout between them is invisible underneath. This is part of the tiled floor which has survived remodelling and centuries of exposure. Three lines are England, the rampant line is Cornwall. The double-headed eagle is Richard, King of the Romans. The chevrons represent the Dukes of Gloucester. This tile represents a play on words of the trivet family. In some places it's 16 smaller tiles surrounded with the black ones, 4 smaller ones surrounded by the rectangles. The day room used by the monks, perhaps for copying manuscript or mending clothes. This is the monks' dormitory, which originally would have had beds running down both sides, wooden chests for clothes running down the middle. This staircase here was added in a later remodelling, but originally the stairs were at the far end, and they also had access to the latrines at the far end in this corner here, with a swing door, one way in, one way out. And behind me, this is the doorway to the night stairs, which allowed the monks to go down into the church for services at 1 o'clock in the morning and again at 6 o'clock without having to go outside. Later, some of the monks decorated their particular bed area with tiles and painted decorations. Here's where the doorway was into the latrines, which were on the upper floor of the building whose foundations are in front of us. The drain running along the right-hand side. This is the remains of the west cloister, which at one stage had an upper floor as well, inner courtyard, with all the various buildings opening off it. Church in the far left corner, the dormitory there above the chapter house, library and so forth, and then remodelled refectory after they demolished the one above the beautiful tiled floor, and with that upper floor which was added later. We're up on the top of Porlock Hill, looking down on the beach at Porlock and Bossington and Hurlstone Point, just approaching Lynmouth and Linton. going down an extremely steep hill.
Oh, I see. This across the bridge and then
climbing up the valley of the East Lynn River, and it's a bit narrow in places, considering this is the A39 we're on. It's a rather unusual A road. This is the Victorian garden at Arlington Court. This is the view from our balcony in our bed and breakfast near Ipplepen at Bully Park Farm. This is Totnes Quay on the River Dart. We're just about to embark on a round-robin trip by open-top bus, steam train and riverboat, and we'll come back here later this afternoon.
So we do have a full saloon bar on board, serving teas, coffees, soft drinks, alcoholic drinks. This is Dartmouth's new hire power ferry, and although we insist on calling it new, it has been on the river the best part of 7 years. There are some 35 acres to visit. Although it's only recently, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've been able to gain access to the house itself.
Are you a Dartmoor pony rather than an Exmoor pony? This is Richard coming over the Clapper Bridge. We're about to tuck into a Devonshire cream tea, and we need to do it properly and put the cream on first and the jam on top. This is the birthday boy today. And we're in the cafe on the green at Widdicombe in the Moor. And very delicious it was too. This is the sexton's cottage on the left and the church house on the right, with the tower of Widdicombe Church behind. It's not many National Trust properties where you go to, where you're given the key to unlock and go in with instructions to lock yourself in once you're inside. The sexton's house in Widdicombe, now used as a church hall, and upstairs is used as a preschool. These panels near the west door record a violent thunderstorm on the afternoon of October the 21st, 1538, when lightning struck the church. Part of the tower fell down and a fireball came through the church and killed a few people who were inside at the time. The height of the tower is such that this is sometimes called the Cathedral on the Moor. It's a much larger church than would seem necessary for the size of Widdicombe village, but it used to serve outlying areas.
How they got up there? Did they come?
They came along the bottom of the field. This is Fingal Bridge, recommended by Judith for a good walk. We're just going to set off on our walk and hope to get to Castle Drogo as well. This is where we cross the river in order to go up to Castle Drogo. Rolling hills on the north end of Dartmoor. This is Castle Drogo. However, we seem to have approached it on a somewhat unconventional path. Right. Continuation of the work that was done down there. Using that they took all this down, block by block, numbered it. This is an art installation, over 2,000 clocks, arranged by types. Got a tractor leading the way here, so we're going at some speed on this lane because we know we're not going to meet anything. This is Hound Tor. This is Compton Castle, home of the Gilbert family for many hundreds of years. We're in the library at Colton Fishacre, the summer home of the Doyleycart family. And this is a wind dial and records the wind direction here. Family like eating outdoors whenever possible, and with a view out over the garden. Very fiery border just below the house. This is a Butylon megapotamicum. This is a quarry, lots of agapanthus. This is Pudcombe Cove, and this is where the family used to come down to swim, and they created a tidal pool down here, but the steps have long since washed away. It's a windy spot, this. Arriving in Brixham, and we're going to look for something to eat. Dad is having half a lobster with prawns and dauphinoise potatoes, and I've got crab thermidor and salad and dauphinoise potatoes. And we're in the Breakwater Bistro in Brixham. Richard's got his special bib on here, ready to start cracking bits of his lobster. This is the Breakwater Bistro, where we had a very nice dinner. We're on Thatcher Point, and this is Thatcher Rock. Lots of cormorants and gulls around. We're looking around Tor Bay here, across to Brixham where we were last night, around this way to Paynton, to Torquay. This is Amstead's Cove with these interesting rock formations. We're in Shaldon, looking across the Tyne estuary to Teignmouth. We're getting away from the captain. The ferry to Teignmouth. Tide's been going out since we arrived. This is the River Exe. Lots of sandbars. They're doing lots of work to reshape the beach here and protect Dawlish Warren village from ingress by the sea. Looking up the estuary towards Kingsbridge, Salcombe on the left, and then out to sea this way. A cute little robin hiding under the agapanthus. These are rather like the alliums that Sheila bought me. Bees enjoying them. This is a smaller agapanthus, lovely pale lilac colour. This is Tower of Jewels. It's got little blue flowers all the way up.
It was definitely made after 1819, before 1900. A company called Polyphon. Most people don't think of Polydor as a German company.
No, it's not at all.
But that's where they originated, in Leipzig.
And hand it very carefully.